Hello. Hello. So if everyone can settle now, because we're about to start our closing plenary. How are you all feeling? Are you feeling energized and inspired? Yay! Great. That's amazing. Okay, well, so we've had a packed couple of days. I think lots of you will be feeling like you don't want to leave. And some of you will be feeling like you're actually quite ready to leave these polished floors and get back to the farm. And we kind of feel the same. We want to go to the field. So I just want to announce to all of you, it's a big secret, that we are launching our ORFC in the Field workshops this year. We're going to have 4 regular ORFC in the Field workshops across the calendar year. And for us, that is about, we've done a couple over the last few years, we've trialled it out, it works really well, we're really excited about it. And for us, it's about expanding our farm practice offering to you. So there are limitations, obviously, to being in a space like this one. And we want to get our hands into the fields, onto the soil, and work with you to build out really exciting, intensive, practical workshops, residential workshops on farms across the UK, showcasing some of the best, most innovative agroecological practice there is. So we're heading, first of all, to Organic Lee, which is a pioneering growers cooperative in North London, in the Lee Valley. It's amazing. We're really excited. We'll be there in early April. And we're going to be talking about peri-urban growing and how to build a really viable career as a grower in the UK. And then we're going to be heading to Wakeland's agroforestry. Whee! And we're going to be looking at all things agroforestry, so we'll be exploring silvopasture, silvo-arable, silvo-horticulture, and we're going to be having researchers from Rothamsted Research to explore soil health and the relationship between soil health and agroecology. Agroforestry, sorry. So that's our first 2, and we're going to be launching early bird tickets to those 2 workshops. At the end of today, in your delegate newsletters, so there's 3,500 of you joining us in person and online. There will be about 30 early bird tickets, so get there fast. And these are going to be 70-person workshops across the year. So we've got 2 more. We're heading to Hilltop Farm in the summer, and then we're heading to the home of the Land Workers Alliance, Jyoti Fernandez's farm, 5 Penny, in the autumn. It's very exciting. Great, so that's what I want to tell you about. Now is our opportunity to reflect on the last 2 days. This, I think, is going to be a bit of an emotional roller coaster. We've got some rabble-rousing. We've got some opportunities to reflect on all of the sessions. We've got some opportunities to reflect on what we felt over the last few days, and some singing. So that's what we're going to do now, starting with Disraeli.
So I'm not a farmer, and I'm imagining you spend quite a lot of time in the company of farmers or people that work on the land. So I'm imagining you don't know how powerful you are to the rest of us. People like me coming in from the outside and experiencing this, having these moments of despair and panic for my children every day as I do, and coming to a space like this and seeing hundreds and hundreds of people in hundreds and hundreds of projects doing remarkable, amazing things for the future of the planet. I have never felt, in the last sort of 10 years, I have not once felt like I have so many reasons to hope. So firstly, thank you for that. And secondly, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be at home. And yesterday, after the opening plenary, I was so inspired by the incredible speakers that we saw. Weren't they incredible? Yeah. Tears in all of the eyes. That I went to a cafe around the corner and just wrote a whole new song for them. So I've been asked to come and share that song, so I shared it yesterday in the Story Theatre. So this is, I say she, but it's actually an amalgam of all the people that spoke yesterday. So Jim Aplin, Sandra Salazar, Dee Woods, James Rebanks, Andy Dibben, Denise Walton, and Edu Nualat. So this is for all of you and all of you. And this is how it's going to work. I point my hand at you, and you're going to shout, "Move!" Like that. Can we do that? Can we try that? Everybody! Move! Yes! Come on! One more time. Everybody! Move! Left, right, the coalition! Move! Left, right, the coalition! Move! Left, right, the coalition! Move! Coalition! Coalition! Enough of infighting and of cancelling. Move! Taste the idiot wind with dancing in. Move! Strange fruit dangling, the horrors here. Move! Coalition, move! Coalition, move! Etc. It's gonna get better. She stands on stage like a vivid flame. Highland dirt in her fingernails. And she speaks in the language of change. There is wisdom in every living cell, so says she. Where is life, there is wisdom. Watch us learn to listen. Ears to the ground, fingers in the soil to the knuckle, minds gathering resistance. Resistance gathers to this collective madness. All of us swimming in batshit crazy. Oligarchs and lunatics burn it all as long as it's lucrative. Eyes glued to this ludicrous monstrousness. This lie of a crime with no consequence. But look, she says, we see in the darkness. Where is life, there is wisdom. We have afterbirth to our armpits, and we are farmers. We know resilience, and we see systems. We are sensitive to the changes, the cracks in the homeostasis. We used to work to increase our yield. Now we're laboring just to maintain it. But still, we stay with the trouble and face it. Because when food's grown with love, you can taste it. That tastes on my tongue. Whatever dark changes will come. With you, I am brave and audacious. A living cell in a vibrant body. Comprised of your body, my body, his body, her body. All of our tired and hurt bodies, making this mighty earth body. Everybody in this room, with your hands in the earth, and with earth on your exhausted hands. You glorious cranks. With a body like this, we can. Of course we can. Everybody move. Left, right, the coalition move. Left, right, the coalition move. Left, right, the coalition move. Coalition move. Coalition move. Enough of infighting and of cancelling. Move. Taste the idiot wind with dancing in. Move. Strange fruit dangling, the horrors here. Move. Coalition move. Coalition move. Said enough of infighting and of cancelling. Move. Taste the idiot wind with dancing in. Move. As Hollywood goes up in smoke. Move. Globalize hope. The time is now.
Thank you, Disraeli. That was incredible. So now we're going to welcome to the stage someone who needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give him one. It's Dan Saladino.
I should introduce myself because I've been busy working away here for the food program. I'm hoping in a few weeks' time you'll hear some of the ideas that I've picked up over the last few days, along with Sheila Dillon, who was here yesterday. So it's been good to be back at the conference. I've made some notes because so much has happened in the last few days. And I come here, or I try and come here each year in search of stories. And I sit and listen and learn to all of the sessions that I can make it into. And that should be an end in itself, because it's an incredible event that brings together so much expertise. And so for a program maker or a journalist, it's a rare opportunity to pick up so many ideas, but also I pick up inspiration. So I often am having to sit in a session and thinking, what's the story and can I make a program? And on all of the sessions that I've been to, the answer is yes. And you could be having a conversation also outside of the session on the street with people in this room, and I come away thinking I need to tell that story. So hopefully those conversations will carry on and become programs that you'll be able to listen to. But I've been to sessions throughout in fact 3 days for me, because I was here on Wednesday, and I thought I'd just list some of the standout ideas that I've come away with. I actually worked out that even though I've been to a session in every slot, that's just 5% of the sessions. So I'd love to, somehow I would love to hear some of the things I've missed. But from Mishak Sukuku, yesterday I heard about the impact of the dependence on maize in Uganda on people and on the environment, and the steps now underway with government support to bring back traditional crops such as millets. It's a story I want to follow. From the session, from the session on veterans and ancient trees, I learned that it's possible to find soil that's been undisturbed for 1,000 years around the roots of oak trees, and that in the National Archives there are documents going back also 1,000 years written with the ink sourced from oak galls, and including documents such as the Magna Carta and Shakespeare. And so that connection between trees and landscapes and farming, but also deep into our culture as well. Just now I was in a session about permaculture and water, and that I learned that Leonardo da Vinci said that water is the driving force of all nature. But also that there are no longer any rivers in great condition in the UK, and that the water industry employs too many chemical engineers and not enough biologists, because we can have better food and water through permaculture, known and established techniques. From Andrew Bavarnik, I learnt that his work over decades in the UN system, producing more data and publishing more and more reports isn't going to change the food system, but a change in mindset across the world's institutions is going to be needed. And so it's going to be interesting for me to follow the progress of the Conscious Food Systems Alliance. From this morning, Rob Percival, I learnt to make a connection between perspiration and ultra-processed foods, which has surprised me, in that UPFs aren't the problem. We need to see ultra-processed food as a symptom of a deeply flawed food system, in the same way that a fever produces a sweat. So I'm going to use that in a program. Thanks, Rob. At a session on resilience, Tim Lang talked about the fact that the Swedish government have developed a food strategy in the event of crisis, including war, and that we don't have one. So I think that was a really important session earlier this morning on resilience and preparedness. And Tim also offered a challenge that a food movement exists, and enough of the talking to each other, and it's time for action. In a session on farmers, chefs and kitchens, we touched on the role of markets, but how in some parts of the UK we are now reaching crisis point as more and more markets are closing, and there needs to be greater collaboration between farmers and food businesses. As chefs are often the ones who get to tell the story, and I, as a storyteller, as somebody who gets to share knowledge and expertise of others through a radio program, I know the power of a story. So I think that's an important relationship. And because of an experience at listening to the landscape on Wednesday, and it really was an experience, I realized there's something missing from my life, which is a connection with landscapes through ceremony. And so we started yesterday with words for the opening, and for me, as we close, I'm coming away with diversity, consciousness, collaboration, resilience, and ceremony. So thanks to all of the organizers of the Oxford Real Farming Conference, again, for what is one of the probably most globally important gatherings in food and farming. And I hopefully get to meet and speak to more of you as well. So thank you.
Thank you. So the word I want to start my reflection with today is gratitude. That's how I feel right now after being with you in so many wonderful sessions, just immense gratitude. I can't think of a better way of starting the new year than being with you all here. Thank you so much for that. What I found in the sessions was a safe space for creating solutions. I'm going home energized and inspired, including, the dinner conversation last night. Unexpected new friends I made and learned all about beekeeping. I'm getting excited to, start thinking about it. From conversations around hegemony and diversity of language and languages that we have here, to beautiful examples from across the different nations of the UK, Kenya, Portugal, France, of real solutions being practiced on the ground that are inspiring all of us. Some of the big themes that emerged for me from the sessions that I'm reflecting and will go back with is this real balance between theory and practice. And that was coming across through all the sessions. Pragmatism and resistance. That was deep through many of the sessions. How are we able to build bridges across, yet hold firm? How can we connect the movement for peasants' rights with the movements for farm workers' rights? How can we connect across with movements of collectives, the food assistance collectives across the country? How can we work on inclusion at the same time as we're trying to change the system where we're fighting for inclusion? How do we tackle misinformation and disinformation? How do we address power in food system? There were so many big elephants in the room throughout these 2 days. Some were called out, corporate power, right? What do we do? How do we meet people and eaters where they are in all our conversations, all our work? And finally, there were discussions which made me think whether we jump on board because there are new developments happening, or do we create our own webs of solidarity? Where do we go? Livestock as a key part of bringing back nature on our farms. Where do we all sit in this global order? What is our role? How can we express solidarity, as was so eloquently spoken from our comrades from Via Campesina right at the start? And what I'm leaving with is a renewed commitment to continue exposing the true cost of industrial food systems on our environment, on workers, in our communities. And I will leave you with 2 quotes that I picked up. One from, my glasses are broken, so please bear with me. Jake Richardson, who said, production of cheap food is systematically dependent on food insecurity of those who produce it. So let's not call it cheap food anymore. Andrew, in the session I've just come from, spoke about how coming to this Oxford Real Farming and similar events is like coming to the future and learning to then take back these lessons from the future into our present and implementing them. Thank you for your generosity, solidarity, and commitment to equity and justice. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I missed the opening plenary and I actually watched it from the church, and I wasn't aware of quite how many people would be in the room. So, and by this time I'm normally on the train home, and now I'm wishing I was on the train home. So, but from the opening plenary, a couple of words sprung out initially: collective, inclusivity. I can't even say it. Sowing the seeds in the beginning. As farmers, we need to open our minds. We need to be open to criticism and praise. We need to be open to learning, and we need to open our farms up as well. And that's not just to other farmers. We need to open them up to school children, other groups, industry bodies, show them the wonderful things that we are doing as farms. The school children that we have at Strictly when we're doing our farm visits, you see children there that you can tell they're different. They can tell that they're the ones that probably struggle in four walls. Not everyone is designed to learn within four walls. And children come out of their own when they're in the countryside, when they're on farms. When they're seeing the wonderment of the things that are on our own farms, be that the tiny beetles or the birds or the butterflies or something like cuckoo spit. When you tell them it comes out of a bug's bottom, they are in stitches. So just stuff like that, it just sticks with them. We just need to be open to everybody. And like the wonderful Jim Applin said at the opening plenary, if someone is afraid to speak up, how do the rest of us know what they are missing? And that really stuck with me, did that. We should really just listen to everybody. We must give a platform to everybody. I was lucky enough to chair a session yesterday on veteran trees, and thank you, Dan, for mentioning that. That was really good. I've got a lot of good feedback with it. And what we did with that, we talked about history, and we talked about how you should manage your farm around a veteran tree or whatever. But then we also used the 45 minutes of question and answers to share stories, personal stories from your own farms, from the communities that people have lived in for generations. And it was wonderful to hear the connectivity that they've got within their own landscapes. And these trees, like you say, some of the soil that's under those trees hasn't been disturbed for 1,000 years, and the trees, we are just a dot in the landscape compared in terms of time compared to the trees, and the protection and love that they've been given was fantastic. I also yesterday afternoon got down on my hands and knees and made a patch for a patchwork quilt down here, and I made a little, which I'm not particularly crafty, so to make a little patch with drumlins, which are the hills that we have at Strictly, the beck running through them and the trees on them, and then the little sun in the sky because it's Cumbria, and Cumbria always has sunshine. So I'm absolutely convinced that ORFC makes you a better person by coming. Absolutely convinced about that. And thank you. Just being in among other farmers, with other industry bodies, people that are interested in food production, it just helps me I often struggle with my mental health. I've been very open about that. Farming is quite often a shit job. Being out in nature, being in among other people that really get that makes everything so much better. We must share everything collectively as well. We should share failure, risk, but also we should share our successes as well. So that for me is what this is all about. Last night I was lucky enough to actually get on the mic at the Hot Poets thing, which Disraeli, he performed that last night, and I thought that was fantastic. And I was lucky enough to be actually part of a thing called We Feed the UK, which was done by the Gaia Foundation. The Hot Poets facilitated all the poetry for the 10 farms that there was around, and we were lucky enough to get a poem written at Strictly, our farm, by Testament. Fantastic hip-hop poet. Go online, look for it, just search The Lig, that's what he's called it, and The Lig is a dialect word for hedge laying. And he absolutely got it. He came one afternoon, he understood what the 3 generations were doing on that, and just that connecting with a completely different school of thought, different medium, different group of people that me as a farmer could never actually touch, getting it through poetry. Yeah, and what these guys have done is absolutely fantastic. You lot got it as well. You understood about farming, and then we could understand about the whole poetry process and all about that as well, so it was fantastic. And last night I really did intend on going home after having a really good meal, but me and my mate Claire, we actually ended up stopping at a kebab van after having a yeah, so apologies for that. After having a few Jaeger bombs, so we had a dirty kebab with cheesy chips on the way home. But that's all part of it, isn't it? That's all part of it. The ORFC and everything it stands for, it really sort of began as a whisper. It began as a sort of a fine thread from a small group of passionate people who believed what they were doing was right. And that whisper of a thread has now grown into a powerful landscape. It's full of diverse thinking and diverse peoples. It's filled with strong voices, all of whom are wrecking real changes, which will and are, in fact, make all our farming futures, in fact, all our lives better as well. And as farmers, we need to open ourselves up, acknowledge that farming has led to a massive biodiversity decline, but understand that us as farmers weren't the cause of that. The policy did. But now we've got a fantastic opportunity. We should lead the change. We should lead the positive change, because we are, as 70% of the land is farmed, we are the ones that have to deliver that. And we shouldn't feel threatened by all the voices coming in and telling us to do things, because we should feel empowered. We should feel empowered to make that change. I was lucky enough for dinner time today, for lunchtime, because I'm down south, lucky enough for lunchtime today to speak to a lovely lady called Els from Belgium. I don't know if she's still here, but she was a new farmer, only been farming a couple of years with her girlfriend, and she was just discovering the joys of farming. She was discovering the joys of the change of the seasons, how things, you know, each year everything's different and stuff, and seeing all that new stuff. And I think we as farmers, we've lost that. We've lost that connection, that joy. We become so fixated on so many different things that we sort of lose the little stuff. And like I said about the getting the children interested in that tiny little stuff, we as farmers should really start to see that as well. And we should really see ourselves as a strong voice, as a powerful voice. And like Disraeli said, we are powerful. You know, we as farmers, we are absolutely powerful. We need to take back control of our farms from agronomists and from contractors and big ag. Understand what the farm is telling us, understand what the soil and the fields are telling us. Weeds, they're just indicators that are in balance, but we can correct them with natural methods. We need to bring back the scrowy corners, the messy hedges and verges, leave space for rivers to flow and grow, and then watch nature come flooding back. We should enjoy our farms, love the soil, cherish our trees, and become connected once more. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and thank you to the organisers for, yet again, an amazing conference. My name's Rachel. I'm from the Apricot Centre in Dartington. We're a small regenerative farm, but we also teach 200 students a year for free in accredited training courses, and actually many of them I've seen today here. They're taught by industry specialists, many of whom I've seen today here. This conference has been an amazing opportunity to connect the emerging farmers and established practitioners, farmers, researchers, and policy writers, etc. together. What's been so exciting to me is how everyone here is united by the commitment to sharing knowledge about land. We've seen incredible speakers and conversations unfold, new ideas sparked, friendships rekindled, and new ones started. We've also seen a valuable exchange of knowledge that will help the agroecological movement to move forward. As we look to the future, it's important that we honour and appreciate those who've come before us. Our ancestors, blood or spiritual, our heritage, mothers and fathers and grandmothers. the farmers and land workers who listened to the land and responded in ways that many may have labelled cranks, in order to coin a phrase from James in the opening ceremony. They've paved the way for the work we're doing, and without their knowledge, dedication and resilience, we wouldn't be here today. At the Apricot Centre, we focus on teaching new entrants training and supporting farmers wanting to transition to more agroecological methods. We stand on the shoulders of one particular special person for me. Marina O'Connell sadly passed away last year, and she founded with her husband, Mark, the Apricot Centre. She also had a generous spirit and commitment to sharing knowledge. But her work wasn't just about farming, but was about building a thriving community of land stewards. Sadly, we've all lost people like Marina, who have quietly and tirelessly worked to build better food systems, even before we had this fantastic movement that supported them to do it. It's why conferences like this are so important. They allow us to honour the legacy of these incredible people and to keep their wisdom alive by sharing it and building upon it, sometimes challenging. I attend some fantastic sessions the last few days, from lively discussions about ultra-processed food to the beautiful Listening on the Land event on Wednesday. But the one thing that really touched me, that was the Farming Futures event session hosted by Sustain, Emergent Generations, Soil Association and Roots to Work. It stood out because it put together established practitioners and emerging ones and really sung to the words chosen by the speakers in the opening plenary. Intergenerational wisdom was shared in an inclusive way, offering solidarity, helping to show how to be resilient and urge new and emerging entrants to continue their farming journey towards food security and sovereignty in the UK. And it was all done with just that right amount of sprinkling of love. So my take-home message from the conference has been one of collaboration and knowledge sharing. And as we move forward, I want us to carry that torch passed down by those who've come before us and keep working together to create a food and farming system that listens to the land, the more than human and human needs of those people on the land, and create a resilient future for the generations to come. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Francesca Price, I'm the conference director, and I have to say I have really enjoyed the last couple of days because it's been the first time in 5 years that I've actually got to see some sessions. And that is thanks to our wonderful new conference manager, Hester. And I just want to do a big shout out for all of the year-round conference team, which is, I'm going to do first names only, Ruth, Carla, Dora, Caitlin, Brittany, Lucy, and Felix, who I have to say needs a special mention for having to put up with such an incredibly strong team of women. So. Now, as you might have heard, we had a pre-event on Wednesday, which was called Listening to the Land, and it focused on how we can come into a more reciprocal relationship with the natural world and why that might be important and help support the food and farming movement. So, I'm going to ask you to do an exercise, and this is going to focus on how what we kept hearing, of course, was that we need to drop more from here into here. And, oh no, sorry, let me come up a bit here. A little bit hungry. So I think it was Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh that said the longest journey that we'll ever take is from our heads to our hearts. So this is an exercise and I want you to reflect on that. So I want you to think about 2 moments in the last couple of days. One that spoke to your minds, one that excited you, one that you went, oh God, I was really delighted to learn that, one that made you think. And I want you to come up with another moment that spoke to your hearts. It might have been something that someone said, it might have been a connection with another person or with a group of people. It might have been when you stepped outside into the landscape of Oxford and saw what was out there. Okay? Now I want you to consider those moments, and if you've got it in you, I want you to turn to the person next to you, and I want you to talk about those moments. And if you're online, and if you're in the middle of a row, and if you just really can't be bothered talking to anybody else, you're very welcome just to take out a pen or just close your eyes so people understand that you really don't want to talk to anyone. And we're just going to do this for 5 minutes. And I'll tell you when 2.5 minutes is up and we'll swap around. Okay? So I'll leave you to do that. Okay, if you can swap around now and let the other person speak. Can you swap around and let the other person speak? Okay, I hate to bring it to a close. If you could just wind up those moments of reflection. If you could just come to an end of telling your neighbour now about your highlights, or we will never go home. So I have to say it was absolutely beautiful to look around and see all these animated faces sharing the joy and highlights of the last few days. So thank you for that. And I hope what it lifts you with is an idea of the difference between coming from your heads and coming from your hearts. I wonder, of those moments, which was the easier to explain to your colleague or to your friend? And I wonder which one you'll go home and remember. Okay, I'm going to bring that to an end. And if you didn't have any highlights, well, we've got a video for you, so you can take something from there.
This is not just a revolution, it is evolution of us as people connected to land, to each other. So I would say to people, open your heart space, listen to each other and listen to land.
The conference is a chance for people to really sow their intentions for the year to come, and I think that's a nice metaphor in the seeds as well. So people will take seeds home and literally sow them, and that's kind of sowing our hopes and intentions for the next growing season.
It's been really nice here, and to think about the spiritual and connection side of things more within the space of farming.
New ideas and innovation, practical ideas about how to bridge that gap between great horticultural and agricultural production and also nature, climate adaptation and so on.
There's so many amazing people doing wonderful things, and when we're all spread around on our farms or wherever we're living, we're not necessarily connecting in that way, and so an event like this that brings together so many people doing good things is just really valuable.
There's so much on offer. Just generally, if you're interested in anything related to food growing, you'll find something.
I think we really need to focus on how to make good food available for everyone, accessible, affordable, while not harming the planet.
We need to, as a movement, shift away from an obsession with purity, the purity of food, of soils, and talk to people who maybe don't look like us, who don't have our privilege, about what they want as a restoration of justice in the food system.
We want to build up a movement, an inclusive agroecological movement. I think we need to really keep in mind all the neglected communities, all the invisibilized work that migrant workers are doing. And that's the only way for me that we can transform to this radical agroecological food system.
I think we're living in really devastating times, and it can feel like, what do we do, and can we build enough power, and is what we're doing, does it matter enough, is it making a difference? And it's really important that we keep acting to make this world more beautiful.
It's always an inspirational couple of days to leave just feeling inspired about the possibility of what our farming landscape can look like.
And what I like to bring if I go back to the Philippines is to let the very few people in my tribe who practice the traditional way of farming, to let them know that we are not alone.
One thing I'm sure of is that diversity is one of the most important assets to farming. Diverse crops, techniques, routes to market and income streams offer the best resilience to climate change and turbulent economic times. Together we are stronger. Together we can deliver this revolution. Solidarity.
So we really are getting to the close now, but wow, what a fantastic conference. I've learned so much, from how to set up a tool library to how to smash imperialism. But it's not just been about the sessions, it's also, of course, been about the people. I've just had so many fantastic conversations. Now, I'm so proud to be chair of the Real Farming Trust. This conference started 10 years ago as just a fringe event to the main conference with only 100 people. And look at it now, look how much it's grown. You know, I think it's really fair to say that we are now really a challenger to the main commercial food and farming industry. And in further 16 years, where are we going to be? Well, I'd be confident that we will actually be that mainstream. We'll no longer be that challenger. We will be the mainstream food and farming sector. So it just remains really for Ruth and I, Ruth, co-founder of the conference, of course, to do the thank yous. And I have to say, it's not a small task organising a conference for 3,500 people. So it may take us a moment, but we'll get through it. To Ruth.
And the list, of course, I mean, every name has got a story. That's the problem with it. So I'm going to find it really difficult just to whiz through. But it's the 2 pages, actually, so here we go. I have to, so funders and sponsors, I have to start with Sheep Drove Trust. Are you still here? Juliet and Peter, thank you so much. Then Esme Fairbairn Foundation, Necessity, A-Team Foundation, Be the Earth Foundation, Riverford Organic Farmers, Guy, were you there? And all the others, and now the new structure of Riverford. See, I'm going to have to keep myself to the text. Right, okay. Growing Good, Farm Ed and Cotswold Seeds, Soil Association Innovative Farmers, Soil Association Certification, Triodos Bank, Organic Herb Trading. Then our partner organisations, Partners for Life, Soil Association, Pasture for Life, which I hope will be a partner for life. Soil Association, Land Workers Alliance, Sustain, Shared Assets, Conscious Food Systems Alliance, Animate Earth, Seeding Reparations, La Via Campesina, hooray! European Coordination Via Campesina, Emergent Generations, and SALT, that's Solidarity Across Land Trades, and media partners, and then I'm going to hand over to Jane, and he's going to go much faster than me possibly. Farmer Armour, the Feminist Food Journal, the Fuel to Fork podcast, and Rooted. Jamie.
And I think the involvement of so many organisations just goes to show the strength of the movement and the degree of collaboration that we've managed to draw together. But then, of course, there's the core team who's been working on pulling all this together, and they really have been working on that for the whole of the last year. You know, it really has been an extensive piece of work, and Fran has thanked some of them, Hester, who's the conference manager, Carla, Dora, also Andy Dibbin, our farm practice advisor, Fran herself, of course, who's laboured so hard over so many years to bring us this conference, Lucy and Felix, Caitlin and Brittany have been very solidly working away in the background. Then there's been the operational teams, Johnny, Ben, Rhiannon, Emma, Jade, Han, Amelia and Irma, the tech support, Peter Lafort, on sterling work over so many years, Marta Lomza, Dan Hussey and Henry Owen, and of course some 130 volunteers who pulled together the conference. We would be nowhere without those volunteers.
Then so the new people, we've had Sarah Parker helping with first aid, and Sarah Webster, wellbeing support. Webster, sorry. I should have put my glasses on, but then I couldn't look out to see all of you lots. So here we go. And then comms, including video and live streaming. Brett Price, Mike Bowden, producer, and Andy Mitchell, and the whole team at Sound Crew. No, it's not Sound Credit. Oh dear. Rick McAllister and the whole team at ScarTech. And Hugh Warwick, hooray. I don't need to be able to read that, to see it. And Ellie Bolly, photographer. Ella
and
Bolly.
Zoe Broughton, still busily filming away down there.
And then Good Food Oxfordshire for organising the street food for us in the town hall. Thank you so much. It was brilliant food. I think this is... So... Now, it's cue the music, because we always finish up with a song. And so if our singers would like to come to the stage, please, and hope you're all in good voice.
I think it's on. Hello? Hi everyone, we're really excited to be here, and Fran's idea was to get a group of us together that would be at the conference to sing a song, choose a song that might sum up some of the movement, and that was quite a challenge. And so we came together, the 5 of us, and we sung together, all together for the first time about 2 o'clock. And we've pulled something together, and yeah, I'd just like to introduce everyone. This is Pearl Ligay-Clark, and Shuan, and Sam, and Ted, and I think Ted's going to introduce the song.
So yeah, just to highlight what a task it could have been, and it was, to sum up the ORFC and the movement. We've concluded with something that, like many things in land work, which I think a lot of us often don't acknowledge but need to acknowledge, it's good enough. So here we go. Come all who work land with a tool in your hand, attend unto me and sit easy for a meal when it's quiet. Come friends, let us try it. Dull thinking can drive us all crazy. Now all who are able, come eat at my table. I won't hear a word of complaining, for the tinkling of glasses, oh, music surpasses, and I love to see soup bowls a-draining. We need fields, we need flowers, we need fruit, we need bowers. Let the lark be our morning alarmer. Come friends, let's make plans. Say good luck to our hands. Long life and success to the farmer.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt here. That was lovely. That was really lovely. But this is a chorus song. And this is like the anthem. So do you fancy joining in with this bit? I think so. All right, I'm going to do it. Can we all rise? Let's all stand up for this. This is one of the great verses in all of folk song. And what I'm also going to do is I'm not going to say, look at us. Can we turn to the middle so we can look at each other? Oh, you won't see the words. Okay, you can peek out the eyes. Okay, let's do a little bit of looking. We'll do it here now, and then what I'd like is turn to the middle so we can sing this for each other and celebrate the very hands in this room. So let's give that another go. We need fields, we need flowers. We need fields, we need flowers, we need fruit, we need bowers. Let the lark be our morning alarmer. Come friends, let's make plans. Send good luck to our hands. Long life
life and success to the farmer. Let the wealthy and great roll in splendor and state. We envy them not, we declare it. For we eat our own beans, our own eggs, beets and greens, and we'll share our own fleece and we'll wear it. By mulching and sowing, by tilling and mowing, this land she gives us a plenty. We've cupboards well stored to fill plates for all, and our gardens afford every dainty. We need fields, we need flowers, we need fruit, we need bowers. Let the lark be our morning alarmer. So friends, let's make plans, send good luck to our hands. Long life and success to the farmer. Were it not for our seeding, we have but poor feeding. I reckon we'd all starve without us. But whatever the season, there's always good reason to have our companions about us. We need fields, we need flowers, we need fruit, we need bowers. Let the lark be our morning alarmer. Come friends, let's make plans, send good luck to our hands.